time. Only really going to clip on to execute.
Bro,
Adam coming into the
I
middle
think
of the frame
KC is going to lose this game.
Teleport. He'll find one. Good Nam onto
Never
the
mind,
back
Kana's
wall.
in the game.
As Kana looks for two.
Never mind, it's a Kana diff.
One for Yike, one for Kana. And in the end, Roga
the way they're syncing their ults just isn't working well. But I guess it was pretty solid by Vladdy. But I saw, maybe it's the Yone changes, but Vladdy had the ult Q, flash to the side, and then snap back.
Probably the whole turret with the next wave coming in. And you know what? It's not 15 minutes yet, and they've just got ahead in gold, despite our worries before that. They've gone from 500 gold behind to 700 ahead-ish.
You're saying they're going to lose about 1,500 gold in the next 3 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. We're going to have a little bit of a mountain range here. Up, down, up, down.
It will be fun. We'll see if Rogue can oblige us with a little bit of a comeback, because right now they have fallen into that hole, as you say. 1,000 gold lead for Yike alone. Leandri's
My Yone.
on him. He is in a very
Or
strong
Yone is
spot.
so
Magic
OP when he gets
forced
played.
out by Vladdy, who just puts his soul back in his body and clears out the wave with the support of Targus. Next objective you have to feel will be this Drake. It's been up since the 5-minute mark, but neither team has really wanted to focus around there for now.
No, it's been much more about that top side. Pretty much every fight's happened in the top side. So that's why the bot lanes were kind of pushing and pulling against each other. Patrick, good.
He really wants that red buff. What is he doing?
Collector just going mini. That could be a problem. Forces the flash.
Oh,
he can't hit the ward. The clone because of the ward. Oh my god, Kana, you're so disgusting.
Really nice ward there from
You're so disgusting.
You can see it was autoed once by Kana. He then walks forward, trying to auto that blast cone, but just trampolines
You're
himself
so
up
disgusting.
and down.
I mean, you've heard of wards save lives. Apparently they take them too. Good kill that. As we were saying, we were keeping close eyes on that top lane matchup. Kana was getting value.
Why is he trying to take enemy red buff?
Dragon now not started, misses the flash.
Yike with the fancy feet though might just look to go in. Blooming Burst not quite going to connect onto Patrick, so he walks away.
He's becoming European.
Will have his flash up in a couple of moments' time and has that loading lullaby, but I don't think we're going to see them get in for the Drake. Keeper's verdict was channeled, and Targamas doesn't find a target to deem guilty.
So Rogue get themselves their first objective, which is the Dragon, compared to the Grubs on the other side. Well, all this is happening as well.
We need to stop teaching him English. It's getting bad. How do you unlearn a language?
So even though this number doesn't look that good, these items looking very good for this point.
How do you unlearn a language?
That Nash's Tooth allows you very good pressure in the side lane. If you are left there, you can start whacking it out, do even more damage to it. And Rogue have a team comp that want to play front to back later. Yeah. You protect this Azir, who has a lot of gold on it. We said even just coming out of Champs Select. If the backline of Rogue gets ahead, that's scary for KC. They'll have to dive through the double tanks onto them somehow, especially when they're doing so much damage.
Well, Kana's
cooked. It's a worry for Carmine Corp to get on towards that back line, but Yike is in a really strong position on this Lilia as well, and when you have your flash on Lilia, you always have an avenue onto
Hits your head into the wall.
Right?
Isn't there people who have had like brain injuries, but then they like wake up and they can speak like Mandarin or something?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? I swear I saw someone had that. What is Kana doing? He's just counter juggling everything.
Yeah.
Unbreakable will.
Some of the Dragonborn says force.
That's fake. Wait, really?
Oh yeah, sure. If I could just shout Fusra Adar in every team fight, I'd be happy. Oh, sorry.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet, chat.
Sorry, y'all. We'll overlook at this once.
But yeah, Carmine Corp kind of they evened out the gold. Where they've taken that little gold lead, but it's been relatively stable for the last couple of minutes. You can see Yike starting up the Rift Herald here. Rogue have done a good job of reacting to the fact that Yike is going for these objectives. He's kind of just proccing his passive to get that extra movement speed as Malrang walks in, but isn't really going to find much happening.
So again, we will draw your attention to the fact that Poppy has flash, and there is a wall right here. We have to be very careful about those choke points of Poppy's in the area.
That's as real as the One Piece.
Targamas
Alright, here comes a big fight for Rogue.
Damage down. Rogue needs to be careful of the terrain they're in.
Kana is Meganar ready to TP.
TP is just about to come off cooldown, so teleport in from Kana, put some pressure on that bot side tower. Rift Herald secured. Vladdy is on the wrong side of the
Meganar is out, and Vladdy is also in the pavement here.
But the Emperor's Divide does not do so. Vladdy will be the first to fall here. Unbinds his soul, but still goes down. The bullet time
not the worst MF ult. Pretty solid. Kana's cooked, bro. I told you this game is going to be a fucking Rogue win. Their champs are so much easier. Welcome to EU, where the team with Azir Sejuani will beat the Yone Lilia, yes. It is just EU draft diff. Azir Sejuani wins games, man. I'm telling you.
They do get that. And as we go through into the replay, The biggest
EU
thing to
at
note here, KC are late. They are late to the play. They call in the teleports anyway. And Vladdy was kind of waiting for the rest of the team to engage so he could have a better angle. They don't get that engaged. So he's left out on the other side, and the pincer gets snapped open instead. Rogue, very reactive, very quick reactions to them to split one side of the fight, reform the battle lines, and take another kill.
You can see Carmine Corp just thought, well, with the bullet time loading Lullaby, maybe we can take out Adam before he pops the World Ender. Maybe we can kill off Malrang, but don't quite have the damage, and the gold swings in Rogue's favor. A minute and a half too late for our statistics.
Damn, whatever shall we do?
Yeah, we'll have to start tracking at 17 rather than at 15, I think, Nymera, to keep the narrative alive. But still, for Carmine Corp,
oh, the Azir, look at his items. Look at his items, mamma mia.
You've got Bloodthirst to complete, Blade of the Ruin King, Triforce
17 minutes in.
They're strong. The risk is, though, Larson has a Seekers.
It's
Already
not
has
that
the
bad,
Nexus
actually.
Tooth complete. There's a Sundered Sky and Adam. Like, they're not going to be pushed out of side lanes.
Actually, Rogue winning does spice the entire fucking league up pretty big, doesn't it? Because now Rogue can knock G2 out of playoffs, which just sounds fucking funny. So Rogue winning, you know what? I'm here for it. That just sounds funny.
Because I mean, you have a Yone and a Gnar with 3 grubs. They want to be hitting towers. Now, not only can you get that in the sidelines, once you go into the big fights as well, the Lily Asleep is not going to be as impactful onto that stasis of Larson, who's getting a lot of gold. He is getting a lot of free time. He's free to farm whatever he wants, and Counter's caught out in side lane.
It's the Flash trying to get away from this one. Mega Nav a long way away in the
Bro, ever since Kana invaded that red buff, he's just been possessed to become a European top. Like, what's he doing? He was so fucking... He was popping off before he went to that red. He was trading well, he was taking towers, he TP'd at the right times, he team fought well. That red buff just...
Even in gold,
what the hell?
With a matchup that's supposed to be ahead. Rogue playing well, and this is so important for them. This is on death's door for them. If they lose this series, technically they're still alive in the playoffs race. It's very, very hard, though. They need all the help they can get. So winning games like this, potentially, we'll see.
Well, Rogue is out if they lose.
Target's to spot out Malrang going into the bot side turret. Herald spawned down there as well. Slams in.
But they are in if you win.
Yeah, importantly, if they win this series, they have 8 ways of making it through to
Someone says, chat, my chicken is ready in 6 minutes. Please remind me. Chat, someone time it. 6:36 chicken. Yeah, 6:36 chicken. Chat time it.
With tiebreakers, and about 540 ways of not making it through tiebreakers.
Nice knock by Targamaz.
Almost falls, but the keeper's verdict gets the knockback, but now you can't really fight. Oh, did you see that? Patrick channels the curtain call. Someone aggroes the Drake. Patrick gets knocked out of his curtain call. Slight miscommunication there, perhaps. In fact, it may have even been Patrick aggroing the Drake with the curtain call.
Yeah.
Still, Rogue get the dragon, they'll be happy.
It's whatever.
And it's their second dragon of the game.
It's
Vladdy
whatever.
trying to defend the mid lane tower.
Well,
this plays out
chocolate.
the way before Rogue can get any demolished procs off on it.
And as we're going into this next stage of the game, again, we talked a lot about side lanes. This is pushed up. This is starting to get pushed up as well. You're contesting in the mid lane, and there is some wards around the place on the blue side, but this is not where KC want. They want someone to push out one area, black out the vision, and use that as a staging post to stop Rogue from safely farming up, sitting chill, and walking towards the objectives later. They have 2 dragons. They're happy with that. They're not behind in gold. They're not under threat of the split push. Rogue are playing towards their comfort of this composition right now.
See if they can start to play a little more towards that. Importantly, for anyone who didn't watch the first series of the day,
lava, chicken.
I can do spoilers, but on the LEC podcast, it's not really a spoiler, is it?
All right, so it's a 1k gold lead-ish.
Which means Carmine Corp are qualified to playoffs no matter what. They are
Hey guys, is G2 stomping LEC again? I haven't been watching.
You get to choose your opponent and you get double elimination. 5th and 6th do not
Oh boy,
get
I can't wait to see G2 win the league again.
For at least those first 4 spots, but first gives you the best chance to make it through playoffs because you get your pick of the letter.
Wait,
T
KC just got a fucking Atakan. What? I blinked.
This topside play towards the Atakan.
This is the new Atakan, of course, Thornbound. It's not getting contested as it seems right now.
How the fuck did KC just get an Atakan?
From the games I've seen of this,
that is criminal.
Atakan does not feel as immediately powerful. That's a good wall stun.
Yeah, a kill does help you, though, in making it a little bit more powerful. And Carmine Corp will find it. Great stun into the wall. Follow up from Kana with the Gnar.
Chat, how many roses do you get per kill? It's 1, right? 1 rose?
14 extra petals from it, as Adam is going to be TP'd behind here. Overall, they're about 38 right now. They get 1 extra petal every time they find a kill. Vladdy TP behind Adam. Adam TP'd out after taking the tower.
Yeah, so from what I've seen on the current patch, a lot of people are just giving up the Atakan if they have better position elsewhere. They don't want to give up lives for it. Of course, it's nice, but it feels like a win more objective we haven't seen all of the implications about this because it is a new patch, but this is what happens with it. Basically, you get more paddles. Your paddles are more valuable, which means you get more XP and the adaptive force. And also on a kill, you get a little blast around the enemy that has been killed, which we actually just saw on the screen there when they kill execute, which gives a slow and some damage as well.
And you also get a petal if you kill someone.
Yes.
Which is, you know, that little bit of experience and adaptive force.
Florists rejoice.
Oh, it's so happy. It's spring. We've got the lavender, we've got
3 minutes till chicken.
Spirit petals. What more could we need?
2 item Azir.
Like cherries. Cherry blossom.
I do think the Atakan is kind of busted.
I would say, you know how you get people bouquets sometimes?
Yeah.
Getting them a bouquet of just cherries rather than cherry blossoms would perhaps not the best advice.
If someone wanted a sweet
treat,
treat,
like cherries, it's true.
It's a little treat as well as something nice to look at.
Perhaps a fight in the mid lane? Patrick stepping forward, across the wall comes Malrang, cleanse out from Kalista. He'll survive.
Nice flash E by Targamas.
As Adam tried to get in the middle of the fight.
Sun and Sky, Sun and Sky.
Adam will fall.
Larson TP in as well. Oi, oi, oi.
Does nothing at all as Rogue walk away with their tails tucked between their legs.
Yeah, both summoners out of Kalista, but it's not the kill. Rogue overestimate themselves, and Adam finds himself right next to a wall against the Poppy. Targamas been pivotal to most of the picks which Karmine Corp have found so far, and this will also open up the mid lane turret as Rogue have to seed that. Yeah,
Targamas has been involved in every single kill for his team, even keeping Malrang a little bit interested as he started up the wolves.
Oi, Vladdy, got Patrick's flash worth.
Away immediately. Curtains open, Kana can block this all though. More about dissuading Karmine Corp.
Well, it looks like, I mean, I think Rogue's position in the last few minutes in the game has been great, but somehow KC have snuck a dragon, an Atakan rather, and they got Jhin, Flash, and died underneath mid-tier 1. Killed underneath mid-tier 1. Lilia, Yone, MF, Poppy lost their sums. Drake in 1 minute, soul point. I mean, I think Rogue is set up for a great Drake fight right now.
See, goal basically even between the two teams now. Next Drake up in a minute's time as Rogue will be looking for it. Will be soul point, infernal soul point as well. With an Azir and with a Jhin can do a lot of work.
Did Sally play scrims today? I played one game,
no summoners for that dragon fight either. Let's have a look at where we are in terms of flashes. Only Patrick has his down on Rogue, whereas only Kana has his up for Karmine Corp.
Which means that Targamas has got to be doing overdrive on disengage for his AD carry. I think if the MF goes down too easily, it's a big problem. Kind of taking some damage off for execute though, that's important.
He's going to chase him down here. Gets the Gnar into the wall as well, and execute just wasn't with his
Free
team.
kill, free Drake.
Karmine Corp find a pick.
Rogue's making a lot of mistakes and getting caught.
Drake up in 13 seconds. They'll try and get control over the mid lane.
Kalista no sums.
Oh,
I don't think that was worth by Larson.
Stepped a bit too greedily forward. Larson with the Zhonya's and flashes
solid
away.
flash, but he should die anyway. Yeah, I think when MF has no sums like that, I think Azir just needs to hit her, not dash in.
Trying to retreat now as Karmine Corp have found 2 up to play in totality.
So carry for carry traded. Dragon is still alive. And when you have the Lily up, the objective damage is never a problem. So that will be Dragon going over towards KC. They delay Soul Point, and Rogue, who we had assumed would feel a little bit more comfortable and we've gotten to our bigger objective fights, don't really set up that well for that. And you miss out on another important play. Kana's now jumping on Patrick.
Patrick has no flash here as well. Targamas just
another pick.
The wall. The chase
another pick
Patrick's
for KC. They're just being handed picks.
2 times in quick succession that someone from Rogue has just been totally mispositioned.
And that's 2 times in a row where Kana has been the one to punish them. Yep. This guy's like a second jungler playing on the mini Gnar. Finds execute as he's looking to set up vision around the play. Greedy with his flash perhaps. Ends up getting taken out very, very easily. The rest of the team nowhere near. If you're a support, you do need damage somewhere near
it's
you
chicken time,
to make
Micah.
sure that you can set up for them if you're the one that's picked up. Larson goes in, does end up picking up Kalista there, but he's out of position after that point. Uses the Zhonya's and, well, basically can't escape the extra mobility for the Oni after that point. So all you've done then is traded for carry. You don't have the DPS advantage.
It is chicken time.
Overall, Karmine Corp coming out on top of the play. They have about 1,500 gold lead now. 2 items on their carries. Riftmaker, Leandries, and a Seekers now for Yike as well. Makes that Flash Blooming Blows combination a hell of a lot easier. As Rogue actually only at 2 items on their carries as well. So nowhere near as strong as they'd like to be. Larson with only about a 150 gold lead after having such a strong start to this game.
They do have the feats of strength, which gives them some extra stats, but it's just...
Boots was slightly buffed on this patch as well.
Yeah,
Chicken's
not
getting
really
burned.
feel good in this situation
Okay, I'm
right
sure
now.
he's got it
Rogue
out
have
by
gotta be
now.
kicking themselves. They were in a great position for multiple parts of this. We're saying, hey, look,
Renderings
really
on
comfortable
Sedge.
point for your composition. You can play around
Quite
objectives.
tanky.
You set up well. You're not losing in side lanes. A couple of bad picks where KC have been very opportunistic. I think that Vladdy and Karna doing very well to jump forwards and follow up on plays which have presented themselves, have brought KC into a good point. And it's a sign of a good team to be opportunistic even when you're behind the pace of the game, to potentially get back into it.
Okay, so
TP in from Aatrox. Wow. They're TPing in to contest the wave. And the fucking fight. Kana on the back. Gets Mega, but not the best evolved position. Nice by the... Oh, MF Lilia cooking.
As Rogue begin to retreat. So far we're 1-for-1. The supports have fallen. Yike still chasing in. Won't go any further. Curtain's now open. Yike jumps back, clipped by one. Vladdy stands in front of the second and the third.
Nice block by Vladdy.
The third and the fourth.
I mean, they lost Aatrox TP there and they went 1-for-1. It's a horror for Rogue. It's an absolute horror.
What looked like a good pick onto Targamas is not a clean pick. KC again rallying to the defense well. I think they are responding well to the opening play, something which I thought Rogue were doing better earlier in the game, but I think they're starting to lose the idea of what these skirmishes are midway through them. I think that they're kind of jumping at some plays. They're not calmly sitting back and realizing, look, we have long-range carries we can peel back. We don't have to be jumping at every opportunity.
Yeah, sometimes you find with a team that hasn't
Azira's
won that
TP at
much,
least.
that
yeah.
They get to a mid-game,
I
late
suppose
game point,
that's
and
fine.
Like, okay, we're in a good position here. Let's force it. Let's just go for every play we see. Let's over-invest if we lose a player. Let's not. If
I don't think Rogue will win the world this year. They will get semis at best.
Otherwise, the game's just going to be lost. We've lost so many games in this position before, right? And it feels a little bit like that for Rogue. Perhaps a few regrets sneaking into the players. Kalist flashes and cleanses away. Execute no longer has the flash, but he has backup. Yike and Targamas now on the front line as the chase continues. Keeper's verdict channeled, but it's a helicopter at best as Targamas cancels it in the end.
So getting the cooldowns out of Kalist is important. This is something where it's summoner economy, right? This is down, which means that someone like this, or like this if you're in the right position, can use that overlapping cooldowns, where you don't have it, to make a big play around, say, the dragon in a minute and a half. Doesn't lead to much right here.
Well,
maybe
Vladdy's fucking massive.
Of that flash to catch out Kalist later.
Yeah, one weakness for Rogue is they don't have a teleport up for that dragon unless...
Kana is also huge.
Well, they have Larson's, but they don't have two teleports, that's what I'm trying to say.
Chat, he's already taken the
Unless
chicken
you
out.
have two teleports? Wow.
Well, you know, I try and go to McDonald's on the way home, and she's like, "Ah, we got McDonald's at home." You know, so,
it was teleport at home, like TFO. Flash. Yes, you can teleport. It's a very short location. Wasn't there that guy that's found a way? How long? Hang on a second. On top side.
Oh, Vladdy going in.
Yone smashes him.
Goes in with the soul and bound.
Wait, did he predict his flash there?
Down,
what?
That was nice.
While you were using flash, he was studying the blade. Gets himself a kill on that top side. Vladdy solo kill. Takes Vladdy,
did he predict that, or was it just like, what the fuck?
Down. Rogue,
or was it just the same angle?
Side lane to set up for the next couple plays around the dragon and the Baron.
Targamas trying to chase Malrang out of the jungle, puts a little bit of vision down. And Corp will start up the Drake. Kana recalling in the bot lane, likely has an item, does have that teleport. Instead, decides to TP in immediately. Malrang, though, can sneak in here. Swellseed goes down. Vladdy
oh, good pop ult. And he dashed away from the Jhin false shot as well.
Karma and Corp will secure the Baron for themselves. The chase continues as Kana's looking for execute once again. Yike going forward.
Why are we chasing, guys? Because we get 3 kills, big. Surprised Larson didn't send it there.
Yike continues to step in.
So Rogue had such a winning state, but they just got caught, lost objective, GG.
Away.
Really clean Baron take from Kamiko.
Yeah, it was nice.
Starts off with an opportunistic solo kill on the side lane by Vladdy, but then KC immediately just say, alright, we can disengage the jungle with a pop, the ult, clean take, and Rogue, they're completely behind the game now. They are now going to have to deal with the side lane push, which has actually come online. Now is Vladdy, he might go for another one.
Yeah, I think
Adam's got to be careful.
I think Adam's dead. Q3 lands. There's the World Ender. Vladdy has the Fate Seal back up and has the flash, and we'll just, oh my god!
Wait, did he Q flash backwards the Aatrox Q3 to ult?
He just absolutely demolished him. Then dodges away permafrost onto him though. Larson's chasing him down. Vladdy
did he Q3 flash back the Aatrox ult and ult him?
An ultimate out for it. And all the meanwhile, his team is
What?
taking Drake and taking names.
Drop
as
the
they secure
replay now.
Tier 2.
Just
He either
sold the clip
flashed
a
it
little bit short. You can chuck it in the montage. Flatty really playing well individually.
or it was
on
completely
Yone.
wasted.
And,
If he
Rogue
actually
falling
landed
apart
that
a little bit now
Q3
against
flash,
the Baron buff in the other lanes.
then
One
put
turret
that
falls, the
motherfucker on
second ball will fall
TikTok.
down here, and Rogue, it just doesn't feel like
If
they
he
have the
flashed
setup to take
nothing,
anyone
then
out
he's
of
a
position.
rat.
Targum is protecting Kaliss on the bot side. Kinda too hard to take down. in
Drop
that
the
mid
replay
lane as well.
now.
Hull breaker for even more tower damage. Rogue, there was a moment in this game where they felt like everything was going to plan.
And
Casey-
then minions spawn.
Observers, are they going to put the replay out or should I just fucking put it up myself?
We can at least give it like 15 minutes of
Yeah, no,
really
it was
solid.
solid. It was good. 17-minute mark. They were 1.5.
Bro,
ahead.
Vladdy
They
just
were
made a
in good
montage.
spot.
We're not going to replay
Just
it.
had to play team fights.
Yeah. Good singer though, good singer.
oh,
But
thanks.
yeah, it did feel like they were playing towards their champion
Alright, Caedrel
identity.
production.
Then I think the mid lane dive where they tried to catch Kaliss, that's where things
Q,
really
he has
went
Q3
awry.
now,
I think
Q3.
you can forgive one
Q1,
overstep, that one which they
Q2.
really went for that mid lane play though. Things fell
Okay,
apart.
it
That's
was
on them.
fucking
I don't think it
clean
was necessary,
because
and
he
it felt,
did
the
time
Red
the
Games just
Q3
falling off
flash.
at that point.
But the Aatrox Q3 to the left because he thought that Yone would go through him.
You can see he hasn't got a kill yet, right? He's
So if he Q3s backwards, he does go through him, but he doesn't go to the left side. So he doesn't get hit by Aatrox Q3, so Aatrox doesn't get the heal. It was quite useful, I think. If you think about it, it was kind of useful. Because if he Q3s now,
Okay.
ready? If he Q3s now, he will go through the
It's not
Aatrox.
the best.
Aatrox is predicting it.
Right now.
But if he
So you
flashes
can't-
back
you're
in
not allowed to-
Q3s,
that one's, it's verboten.
then Aatrox doesn't hit anything.
That's his verboten.
So it's kinda nice.
A delight.
Kinda nice from Vladdy.
Yeah, knows exactly
You know
the
what?
limits of the champion. Rogue here
VAR,
trying to defend their
fucking given,
remaining
clean as
two
fuck.
inhibitors. The mid lane one will spawn in 3.5 minutes, but guess what else spawns in about 3
TikTok
minutes?
clip
Baron
allowed.
and an infernal Drake. And Rogue aren't going to be let to leave their base in that time.
Trying to play around some of the vision around their base, but how do you defend from this? You have to push up lanes. Feels like if you go too far, you get caught out. Adam's trying to force something.
Larson going in
I
as
saw
well.
that combo
Karna
from
not quite
Naknako before.
Meganar yet. Does get the Meganar. Larson pops the stopwatch. Magnet Storm comes in as well, but Larson goes pop first. Karna's going to die as well, with a follow-up coming out from Carmine Corp. Vladdy misses
Holy shit,
the
that shield.
Sealed, and because of that, his fate is done. Adam finds
Oh,
two
double sleepy
bullets, a
time.
lullaby, though, from Yike as he chases in.
Steraks
Watch out,
broken.
Abe. Adam's
Watch
gonna
out.
fall like with Yike with the Leandries. The curtain's open. And
Someone linked the Naknako
quickly
Yone clip.
shuts
It's the
them,
same thing.
realizing
Oh, he
Carmine
missed.
Corp looking in.
Nice stopwatch.
Marin's
Khaleesi BT.
gonna fall. Carmine Corp will walk away.
Heal up.
4 for 2 the exchange, and the Nexus in their eyes.
It all looks fine until the other carry turns up. Yike brings the 3,000 gold lead to bear.
Overall,
Carmine
you know,
Corp will
Vladdy,
look
you
towards
did
the
int the
Nexus.
game a bit. But
We
that
wondered how
TikTok
they
clip,
bounce back after a week
that might
off,
have saved
while
it.
Carmine Corp has shown the blue wall is as
Chat, someone
tall
send me the
as
Naknako
ever.
one.
1-0 against Rogue.
So the
There's a
chatters
little
who
ball
haven't
in
seen
that
that combo
game.
before,
Okay,
wait,
so one needs to
Naknako
think
Yone.
To stumble a little bit.
Oh, here it
Rogue
is.
had a good start to this game, but it really
Here's
didn't
the
feel like
clip
it
from
could last
Naknako
all
where he
the
did the
time.
same thing.
Well, we'll see if they can last
Now this
longer
one's
in
different
game
because this
two
one is on a
and short
Sejuani,
break.
it's on a
See you
Casio.
right
Look.
after this.
Now that is fucking clean. That's how you use that combo. That was ridiculous. That was on a Casio ult. That was ridiculous. Jesus. Oh my god, that one is sexy. Jesus, man.
Wait, I'll take care of this.
Oh, be careful. That thing belongs in a museum.
What is this?
Well, that escalated quickly. What do we do now?
Let's have a break.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
How do we get out?
Like this.
See ya.
What about me?
Fuck, man, I'm so addicted to that Supernova song.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What is this? BB solo kills Oruamne?
What a ride it's been.
We can probably dive top, by the way.
Hesitation. We're getting closer
Maybe
to
one of them
the
top
journey.
again.
What a legendary journey we've been on.
I think
But
Lucian
taking
+2,
excellent options.
maybe.
Maybe
One of them is I think Lucian +2.
Holy.
You wanna wait? You wanna drop? That was crazy, bro.
Explore over 30 hotel brands in legendary destinations. Marriott Bonvoy, a check-in at every checkpoint.
Oh, Doamne getting fucking smoked. Holy shit. Chat, I feel like when I watch that, you get your ult off faster on Yone, no? Because as you Q flash, it gives you an animation timer where the knock-up hits later, so you can ult so he can't flash. I feel like it gives you more ramp up on landing your ult so you can chain CC them. It's quite powerful, actually. Dun, dun, dun. Caedrel Poppy. Yeah, my Poppy's not bad, I guess. But I'm very rusty at the game. Very rusty. It's so hard to, like... I don't know, if you don't play League for a while, it's so hard to realize what's going on around you. You gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. I laugh when you say lol. You laugh when I say lol. Absolute degeneracy, that's what it is. It's fucking degeneracy, pure degeneracy. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, chat, say something funny, link something funny, go on then. Go on then, you get a chance right now.
In Sweden. I'm at Watson and you're watching car. Oh my god, I can't believe
The
we're
two
actually doing
fastest
this.
cars in the
Wow.
world. Wait, really?
The Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute has a 5-litre twin-turbo V8 running on
Who's
E8.
faster?
Not quite off. First time driving a Jesko Absolute.
Hey, he's cheating.
Was good, but
What the fuck? That one's 10 times better. How fast? What the fuck?
So fast, so glorious. You just can't keep up.
I'm always too slow.
It is what it is. Naked.
Wait, the other one he gets smoked.
Oh, I'm really into this. It just feels so nice, like the sensation. Let's do some more. That's like.
This is like Humble Life versus Gen G. EU's in a fucking camper van.
Wow, there's a lot of speed happening.
NA's on a push bike.
Okay, so we were level for a short period of time.
Okay.
And that's the problem, right? And you bring a great point. That is the one problem.
No,
for
actually,
Rogue
they're on a
right now,
plane home.
because
True.
They're playing against
Good
KC.
one,
The
chat.
next game is against them.
Good one, chat.
Improvements are not good enough unless you're winning, and they desperately need wins against some of the best teams our league have to offer. And while the early game gave us a lot of hope for Rogue right now, we just need so much more from them, and it's such a dire situation.
Yeah, it's a bit similar to the BDS game one, I think. More hope you got from BDS for sure, but I don't know, Rogue, it feels like a little bit too little too late, and I think, you know, if they lose this series, they're pretty much out.
But they're technically not out, Jack Spectre, and that is the important thing. They can still
They
in
are
some
out, they're out,
scenarios
chat, they're out,
make
chat.
it with a 3-6 score, but obviously
It's giving
you
well,
want to win.
actually.
Well.
I mean, like, yes, they have to win this. If they want to have their own faith in their own hands,
They're out, chat.
this
They're out.
series
They're
is
raus, as they say in Germany.
crucial for them to
Raus.
be on that leaderboard and give themselves a shot. Because what do you mean you're going to have to wait to see how your game's going to go against MKOI, but also how every other team is going to play their game? And we know anything can happen. We know chaos is a theme of this split. But from Rogue, it's like, you said it right. It's a little too late. Like,
Yeah, and it feels hard as well when you get Larson on the Azir, you get Malrang on the Sejuani.
Can you clap Ona in GeoGuessr?
Still not enough.
Bro, I would
It's
fry
like,
Ona's cheeks in GeoGuessr.
From Rogue.
He would get absolutely smoked.
Yeah, but like in terms of setting up that win, I mean, I'm not sure what they have in the tank.
No,
I am the geologist.
We didn't know what BDS had in the tank earlier, and then they brought out the Nocturne conversation.
Of GeoGuessr, I know everything.
I think that the fact is still that coming into today, KC is the #1 team, and I don't think they played like a #1 team against Rogue, who's a 10th place team. I think, yeah, we're right.
Facts.
Rogue, it feels bad coming back into a game 2, and you're going to have to find ways to manage the same early game you just had. But KC still has some shakiness to them, and I think they still have some things they need to work on too. I think that was really the story of this first game, where it's, well, yeah, Rogue got ahead, but KC as well, they're not looking as good as you want them to be, especially since they've come off first stand and haven't been able to deliver the same performance.
If anything, it feels like there is still hope for this series for Rogue specifically, because if they can look back at this game and figure out what they need to do to clean up after that early game kind of like didn't go their way no longer, maybe next game's a win?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, this is one of the examples I was talking about, where it's just it's overextension from KC in a play where they've already lost the Rift Herald. They're going in for plays where Rogue is then able to manage to find kills, right? And these aren't necessarily champion specific.
Since you're a god at GeoGuessr, where's Baus?
Making, then Rogue is allowed to then clean up after.
Yeah, and it feels like kind of our league right now is filled with these games against the supposed to be top teams versus bottom tier teams. Like the BDS Fnatic series, what BDS is like 7th, 6th place, while Fnatic is now 2nd place. But it didn't really feel like it when you're watching it. Both games looked very close up until suddenly Fnatic won. And it was kind of similar story here. And it just posed the question, is LEC really good? Or
are you not entertained?
I am definitely entertained.
Have I heard this question 2 weeks in a row now?
Yes, but it's a question that keeps coming up to mind when you have a game like this with KC. It's KC against Rogue.
So have you thought about the answer
Chat,
yourself?
I need a haircut though. I do. I need a haircut.
Okay,
because I think the bottom tier teams don't look as lifeless. They are playing the game. They're trying to do things. Rogue, for example, if you look at their winter games compared to their spring split games,
absolutely, yes, you're right.
So I don't see an argument for the league just being worse. Yes, maybe our top teams, could be a bit cleaner, all that jazz. But our bottom tier teams are also still way, way better than they were before.
How much are we going to say, oh, but KC only scrims for 2 days too? Because Fnatic said it didn't really impact them that much and it wasn't like too big of a deal. So I guess for KC, potentially also not. Maybe that's why they're not cleaning up their act early, but it's also something we've seen throughout the entirety of spring. So I feel like there's questions surrounding inconsistency here.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I still think that the laning phase from the KC bot lane is not as good as it could be.
All right, KC, wrap it up.
He's a superstar when it comes to mechanics.
It's time to rock.
I love how he
time to rock.
has
It's time
the
to knock
confidence to play the mid to late
out.
game, always almost overstepping his own
It's time
boundaries.
to knock
But then
them
that is
out.
the point as well, that sometimes it does get overstepped. And I think laning phase, we've seen it quite a bit. So if Rogue actually wants to find... Well, it almost sounds crazy. They maybe have to play for Patrick against Kalist to find an edge. And you're laughing, but the laning phase we've seen from Rogue
what the fuck is that?
From the bot side as well.
But it's interesting because I think the eye test for me as well has been that KC's bot lane has looked pretty weak.
The fuck is
but
that?
Kalist's early laning stats has actually been really, really high, with really high CSD at 14.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I was also surprised when I saw it.
Is this what cars are going to be like in the future?
Some of the strengths of KC
you just
are
drive on
like
balls?
It's been like more the Vladdy and the Yike show in a lot of games, and even Kana show.
And they drive themselves as well?
Dictating more that early game, when I do think that Kalist is still quite a bit better than Patrick, and I don't really see that being the ideal win con for Rogue. For me, I think Rogue, if they want to try to win this series, it's about Larson, it's about Malrang.
You can crab walk it by
I think it's all about
literally
that top
spinning
side,
this entire
trying
thing.
to get those players ahead. Malrang playing for top and mid.
What
and trying
the
to snowball
fuck?
that.
You can play
I mean,
Zelda?
Rogue have selected red side here as well, so you definitely have the opportunity to get that. But I think for Adam as well into Kana, it can be such a mismatch. You really have to find that specific matchup where Adam can kind of take over with it. And well, Gods is one.
Why is it like a crocodile?
Really champions, right? Yeah. Like Jace has been a contested pick, but I don't think you can give that when you're red side, because Casey will just first pick it, right? But it is one of those, like, is it at a roll round? Started picking up more range champions, Adam. That could be an avenue for you. It's one of these more cheeky ways of skill testing Kana that I think that they need to find.
How the fuck are we getting automatic, light, rubber wheel, spherical, auto-driving cars that you don't need a steering wheel in? That can drive for miles without doing anything and look so futuristic, and we can't get a fucking winter map in League, bro? What is this dog shit?
When BDS, when Adam was playing for them at Worlds play-ins, and they had to play against PSG Talon, and they were on the
We have cars that can drive themselves.
They had to reverse sweep them. That was through
While
Adam's
you
Jet control at
fucking
the time. That
watch
was
a
him just
movie.
saying, well, here's a Garen into a Jax.
And we can't
Here's my
change the
champions that
fucking
I'm so
map
famous
scheme?
for.
We
And
need
these
some
are the-
gods.
Well, we might need some gods, right? I mean, I'm not saying that is exactly what you need to win. But
Your
I am
mic's
just
not like
saying
usual, is it
you
not?
never have a reason to play it safe. when
Hello?
Your players are known for breaking the limits with champion pool wise.
Bombardilo
Well, this
Crocodilo.
is the
Can
time
you hear me?
for Rogue to prove themselves and put themselves on that leaderboard. An incredibly important series, but also for KC to prove that they are worthy of that first spot. We're ready to head into the second game of the series, KC versus Rogue. So casters, take it away.
Where do you want us to take it, Jenny? Huh? Where do you want it to go?
The second series.
I was
going
going to keep the series here because the crowd is here, or the setup is here.
Couldn't have done it in like Freak's basement like the old days.
I mean, we could go back to Madrid.
True.
People seem to enjoy that. We are
But
going back.
I
to
got
Madrid,
hiccups.
you know?
GG.
It might be a slight technical pause while we get everything set up there, though.
Yeah. I don't know if we've unlocked the tech tree for teleportation IRL just yet.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you? Okay.
Teleportation is impossible.
Okay. Pause concept. What do you got?
I'm gonna go on a tangent.
Right.
Tune back in 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
If you could teleport, would you teleport?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
What if it's your atoms are taken
the
apart
Star
and then
Trek
put
thing.
into another place, like Star Trek? Yeah.
It depends how good the teleportation.
Are you the same person?
Why are you bringing philosophy
I mean,
into
it's
my
a good question. Let's
League
get
of
into draft.
Legends?
Let's get
Yeah,
into
of course you are, chat, because all of the atoms are the same.
From Carmine Corp, as you say, as we talk
Right?
about, Rogue
If they
have
move
picked
all of your
the red
atoms
side, Carmine Corp will get
from
rid
one
of
place to
Bastion
another
and
place,
Maokai.
it's still
Rumble
you.
removed by Rogue.
It's your
We'll
atoms.
see if they go down the same
No.
with the Jace man.
How does that
Rogue
make sense?
really prioritizing counter pick for Adam. He has been very lane
How does that make
dominant,
sense? You have the
and
same
in
atoms.
fairness,
What do you mean, not
you
really?
give counter a winning lane, you lose games of League of Legends.
Same
So I understand
connection,
the
same
logic
heart,
there.
same atoms,
How
same
much
everything.
else do you give up for that, though? Right now, Vi, I mean, it is yikes of the Vi, I suppose, not the biggest bad to
If you
give over.
copy-paste a file, is it
However,
the
giving
same
over something
file?
like a Jace, which I assume is the last ban.
No, it's
well,
a
not
copy,
even that. Well, what happens
idiot.
if there's a Jace now? Just kind of shred people with that.
Okay,
Is it
Vi
by
first pick.
Jace? I mean, the question is,
They
do
could
Rogue
put
want
Poppy
to
into
play
it.
Jace
No, it's
in
out
the
actually.
open?
Poppy's
Like,
out.
Adam
I mean,
has
if we
played
go
it a
by
few
arcane
times.
logic, if they lock in
That's what it
Vi
is. No,
and
it's not.
Jace, it is like the worst combo
No, it's not.
in the
What
arcade.
teleportation
Like,
is if I drag and drop a file in a different
I do like
location.
Talia ban 'cause the
That's
Azir
what
has already
teleportation is.
played
It's not
and,
copy pasting.
Azir
It's
is kind of the best
drag
thing
and
to
dropping.
Talia generally, so getting rid of that Talia, making sure Vladdy can't get it, does make
Fact.
sense from Rogue, but as you say, it gives Kana his Jace.
Same
which he
file.
has won both his games on.
I rest my case.
And I will say,
No philosophy
all
needed.
statistics for Carmine Corp are
I
kind
bless
of
you
made
with
up
the answer.
because they've won most of their games.
True.
So it's a little bit like, oh, he has 100%
Well,
win rate on this champion. but
Rogue
he also
really
has
decided we're on match
100%
point.
win rate
If we
on
lose this route,
Phoenix and
let's give
Ian.
Kana Jace.
Like,
That was
does
the
that mean
conversation.
anything?
I mean, it does look
It's
a
so
little different.
fucked.
It's like, wow, you've got 100% win rate when like Kalist had like 10 kill Kai'Sa games or something like that.
Exactly.
And
like Jace, Kana is very good.
Do we want to play against A
Sin
and
and
nerf
the
Nefiri
Victor are the
and
lock
trade
for
Sins on
Rogue, so
Nefiri? Or do you
strong
want to
mid lane
B,
that
give
can
Kana his best
dominate
champ
lane
by
if he
far,
gets
who's going
ahead, and
to
then
clap
Sins are
everyone?
Very good at skirmishing.
Oh.
Carmine Corp currently looking. Well, they're hovering Shen.
It was hovered by Adam before this because Shen is ridiculously powerful. Was played in our first series as well. That champion is very, very strong right now. We do actually have.
Now you're
It's like
asking me
already
about
groans from the
Theseus'
audience,
ship.
guys.
It's not the
I'm on
same
your
logic.
side, okay?
And the Akali as well. So not only are we fighting against the Yike Vi curse,
Ooh,
it's
what do
also
you even pick
against
top
the
here, man?
arcane Vi Jace,
You have to pick
nerf
Sion.
as well. They did
You have to
nothing
pick
good on
Sion
screen
and
again.
pray.
Really
They
did
had that one fight in the
They're not picking Sion, they're picking Kai'Sa.
The oil thing.
I think
Well,
there were things which went wrong there too.
I would ban Sion.
Speaking.
I mean, sure, but you know. The kids yearn for
Why are you saying
That's all
game
I'm
3?
gonna say.
Because Vladdy's
Kids
on
yearn
fucking
for the
Akali or
vibes.
what?
Akali is the second lock, as you
Like
said.
2 steps away from chicken jockey, and I'm very afraid of it.
Did
Kai'Sa
someone
looks
say
in.
chicken
Hope the audience
jockey?
doesn't start throwing popcorn at us. Kaisa is the final lock-in, as you say, for Rogue. So they have
It's
their
crazy
AD
how
in mid
movies
and
that are
jungle,
memes get
whereas
more
on
viewers
Carmine
than
Corp's
movies
side,
that are
they've gone
good.
mid, jungle, and top lane to kick us off.
For me, the Kai'Sa is a takeaway from the other comp because if you're diving in
Or
not
like
just
songs,
with
you know,
Kali,
like
but then
songs are
also a Kai'Sa
popular
flying
because
through,
they're
which
memes.
Nokolis is
Or
disgusting
TikToks.
at.
Hey, he took a picture of the cameraman.
If the Kai'Sa came in
What
as
the
well,
fuck? W.
no one is surviving that. The Victor gets immediately blown up. I don't care if you build a Zhonya's
No,
later.
Minecraft's
you
not,
don't
actually
get to play
Minecraft
the
is an
game.
exception.
while the
Minecraft's a great
Kai'Sa,
game.
I don't think it
What a
fits
great game.
really with the Victor as a double backline.
Who will be
carry,
today's Inta?
duo, and I don't think it necessarily fits with the Xin Zhao. It does
Okay,
stop
I
the
see
worst
it.
case scenario from
An
KC,
XTD on the
locking
right
that in,
there.
having a massive dive comp onto you.
Makes a lot of sense to get rid of that. The Sion banned away by Carmine Corp. They're just trying to get rid of things that have okay matchups
Nautilus
into
out,
the Jace or
Poppy
can
out,
survive into the
Rakan
Jace.
on
Nautilus
4.
removed by
No,
Rogue again.
doesn't make sense.
Something that really facilitates diving onto that backline. Nautilus is so
Alistar
good at
on
that.
4.
Leona does fit a similar wheelhouse. and has non-committal.
But I feel like if you pick Alistar on 4 to get the strongest sup, aren't they just going to slam Caitlyn? Like LCK would probably play Caitlyn Elise.
Carmichael going to get rid of Nico.
Very lane dominant. You can often carry the Kai'Sa through lane if you're against.
They are going to be Rakan on 4.
Lane dominant carry. I mean, obviously, we would have seen something like a Jitter and an MF into that as lane dominance before that. Something like the Rakan can also do a decent job.
Why don't they counter support? There's Rakan, Alistar.
Actually, with your time
What the frick?
Know a little bit about that champion. You know what? They would have loved to have something like a Poppy here.
Yeah.
Not available because of that first game. That is the nature of Fearless. Same kind of thing with Talia.
Okay,
right?
they take away Rakan to stop Xayah Rakan, I guess, because they're playing Kai'Sa.
If I'm Comment Corp, I really don't mind Kalista here. I think it's a little bit short range, but
they can play into Kai'Sa Rakan. They can play Draven.
You've already got the Ash
they can play
away.
anything.
You are just looking for a
like Draven fucks them up.
Gives you the ability to get the support onto the backline anyway if you're going for that dive. Doesn't have as much self-peel, where something like a Poppy would be really strong, so maybe they won't go towards it, but I wouldn't mind a Kalista at all.
He's also, I believe, this split, maybe not this year, definitely not this year, but this split, Kalista's actually unkilled on the champion.
Oh, wow.
With the Alistar coming through, it feels like they're kind of maybe sacking lane a little bit and saying, look, we just want to get through the lane phase.
Alistar is the last thing I expected.
Did so much damage on in the ERLs when he was on Kami Corp down at that level.
Actually, his most played across the course of his career, but has a lower win rate.
Chat, I'm going to run ads. If you know about ads, you can use the 1 to spam half channel if you want to. Back to the game.
Oh, we get ourselves. Wait, is that locked? That's the Yorick. We get the Yorick.
Let's go. I love Yorick.
We have had a lot of Yorick over in LPL. It hasn't really caught on elsewhere, but the whole idea about Yorick into Jace is that if you hit the morning mist, that goop you throw out with the E, Jace hates life. Yorick is one of the most obnoxious 1v1 champions of the game. Has a ton of sustain through from his Q.
Yorick
has a ton of ability to get towers killed as well. If you leave him alone in a side lane, you die. So there are a couple of things you can't do. If you get hit by the Morning Mist, that's bad. If you get hit by the Dark Procession, which is the little cage around you, that's even worse. Kana has to play out this individual matchup very, very well. This is probably the hardest Jace matchup in the meta.
It's so strong. I've loved Yorick since his changes where he was playable in jungle as well. Do you remember Mori? I remember, I mean, the good old days of Yorick. He was really powerful. But also, obviously, you have the Eulogy Isles where you can apply less pressure into lanes that you're not playing in. You could put your Maiden to work running down towards the bottom lane. You do become Maidenless.
Didn't Yorick get nerfed?
But it gives you an extra point of pressure on the map. I've been very excited to see a Yorick come out in the LEC. See Adam bringing it out.
Oh yeah, in jungle,
I hope. I'm trying to remember if we've seen one at all so far in LEC.
It doesn't spring to mind. See whether works out for Adam. It has always been about that lane pressure at various points of his career. The Depths were asking for gods. This seems a little bit antithetical to that one. Yorick a little bit more morbid. Seeing you down the river Styx as the Undertaker.
It's our first Yorick of the LEC, so good memory from both of us, although bad memory for not.
Yeah, I think Yorick is regarded as a good pick into Jace, or like a nice pick. You just tank his damage, throw your fucking thing at him, and then you just outscale him or some shit.
Oh, well, we have Kana. We might
but
as well
it is Kana's Jace, so I wonder if
Kana
Adam's about to get fucking...
Jace. We'll have a little bit of struggle into Adam. Adam's running Grasp. You do sometimes see
Chat, Paris is next week, right? Yeah, it is.
Ghouls can stack it up for you really quickly, but Grasp
it's
gives
G2,
you a
Vitality,
in the lane, and obviously
KC, and who's the third team?
That Grasp is very solid.
Often what we've seen
G2,
as well,
Vitality,
again, this is a
KC, and
a ton in the LPL because Jace is kind of first pick ban over
SK.
there. Yorick's become the de facto
SK's playing in Paris.
What you often will see is
that
Jace
means
have to
Rogue
go
wasn't invited,
if you go towards
and
Shojin
who's
or
other
Black
team that
Cleaver,
wasn't invited?
you don't win the extended fight. You must go for burst.
Heretics. Rogue and Heretics just didn't get invited to any lane.
So you're not likely to see more of the Bruiser from Kana. Of course, we'll track that build as it goes through, but that's the logic
BDS,
that I've seen elsewhere in the world.
Let's see. Well, I'm going to have a lot of looks towards that top side. I'm wondering if
I think we should have a LAN event for BDS Heretics
as well to make it so it's 3
and Rogue.
to kill the wall instead of just the 2. Obviously, Kana can just
we
use
should have
that
it. Where should we have it?
form to get the 3 quick auto attacks off, but we'll see. It's going to be an interesting one. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Vladdy and Larssen are fighting on a matchup we, again, don't see too often. Vladdy coming out on the right side of it for now with that 5-point strike early on. Larssen taking the wrong side of the trip.
First strike victory into Akali.
Right now as well. It's gone towards the Conqueror, which is better for, well, we'll see if he goes towards the Yorick. Akali doesn't win the 1v1 matchup versus Yorick either, though, because no one really does. You're really important to see if KC can shut down Adam. You want to make sure that he doesn't get
Korean
free time
Jace,
in lane.
GG.
And the first level going really well for Kana. this is your point to make sure that the Yorick doesn't have wave control, so drop some XP and things go bad.
Ooh, Timeless going in onto Execute here, who has to flash away. Ignite ticking. Execute does still have the heal. But, will be able to survive for the moment. As you say, like Adam, you are still playing ranged into melee. Until you get your ghouls up, until you actually have a way to push that lane out, until you have the goop of the morning mist, it's pretty difficult to trade in. One of the trading patterns you'll look for later is hit the morning
look
mist.
top
If
CS.
Adam, if Kana is in range, you can walk up
Yorick
to
has a
him,
wave on
pass
his
right
tower.
to him. Otherwise, you just use the morning
How
mist
many
to
of those
force
minions he will get?
Kana
I have
away,
no
and then
idea.
you clear out the wave as he's running away from your little ghoulies.
And the worst thing about this is that once you do get those ghouls up, you can't even hit your Qs because it hits the ghouls in front of you instead. One of the big changes to Yorick and why we saw more of him is that his ghouls are
Oh
more
god, the Jace
consistent
doesn't speak
to
any
bring
English,
up,
it's
and they are
fucked.
harder to kill as well.
Adam
I
is
think
so
they do a little bit
cooked.
less DPS. Also, this patch, this is actually nerfed Yorick. We didn't see the strongest form of it, where your E was doing a little bit more damage, which is crazy to think. Your E was doing more damage than... We
Bro,
will see
Kana's
what the champion
spacing in
hopefully can
range
do
form is
later on.
nuts.
Fan of the champion when it starts getting ahead. One of the real masters
Oh
of
my god!
X's, where
What?
You know, 3
Bro,
champions
he's
in
so
your lane.
fucking
Not
clean.
Right now though, and Yike is doing exactly what you need to do. Go towards the Yorick before they really have that power.
Get up towards this top side. Adam will heal up a little bit with that door.
This is the point where Yike like says, oh yeah, we can dive, and Kana's like, sure, and then he dies to the Yorick and all of his work is just gone.
Automatically and chase that target, but otherwise
Surely that won't happen, right?
Of those graves. You see that little pink thing standing next to Kana? That's
Okay,
a grave.
Kana, I
need
saw you
3
just
of
missed
those
3 minions.
to be able to spawn your ghouls. Here we go. They go for the tower dive. Kana goes in first. Dark Possession. Kana's locked under the tower. It will be a 1-for-1.
I mean,
exchange,
we'll call it worth. He probably gets TP advantage from that.
Yeah, so the problem here now is kill went over to the Yorick and not to the Jace. So the individual matchup going the side of Rogue. That is a problem. Adam will be
Nope,
able to
he just
teleport
TPs right back
towards
in his
that
face.
lane, get himself a combat. Gets himself a Sheen on the first back. That's a problem for Kana.
Engage happening onto Callista as well, who uses the barrier, tramples Sun onto Execute into
Wait, he's
the
dead.
pulverize.
Is he dead?
Execute trying to dance back to Patrick.
What? They
but
died
can't
2v2?
get close enough. Carmine Corp get a kill in the bot side.
Forgive me for thinking this was a scaling lane.
Rakan
Some
Alistar,
great
Rakan
combos
Alistar.
there
That's
from
good for
Targamas
one
to
side. I thought it
punish
was
Execute,
Rakan.
who
Is it good for Alistar?
realistically should not be in those sort of positions.
Pretty
Scored
even,
out
but I thought
very
it was
easily.
good for one side.
Kind of breaks that cage, but Adam gets some good damage back.
Both of them about half HP. Kana with a little bit of an HP lead has got biscuits and a refillable alongside his here. He knows where his bread is buttered. Needs to be able to survive.
He knows
through
where
this
his
lane.
bread
Got
is
the bone
buttered.
plating as well, which is an interesting choice maybe for later on in the game. I think the second wind may be slightly more advantageous than the 1v1.
Oh
Dark
my
Possession
god.
misses as Kana
Oh
sits to the
my
side,
god.
dodges, the wind becomes lightning
It's so
as well.
cooked.
Kana's been
Oi,
watching
oi,
since
oi, they didn't even get his
this.
flash.
Puts on his fancy feet and just dodges
Jeez.
away. Is hit with the second wind becomes lightning, but Adam and Maurang will back away.
No boots, slowed, still dodges. Not sure how that manages
Just
to
Kana
happen.
things, man. Just
Kind of things. Misses plane fights and skill shots miss on him.
Yeah. It's, you know, you can't be perfect in every aspect of life.
That was actually maybe a free kill if Sinzao connects W, isn't it? W-E,
Vladdy will hit 6.
auto, Jace flash, just flash, match, one-shot him.
Remember, the 8-minute timer for them is now the case, and it looks like Targamas is just going to be roaming around the map. Patrick and Execute actually moving out of the lane
This
on the
chat
bot
is
side,
so
knowing
ill.
that they weren't winning out on those trades early doors. There's already BF sword for Callisto. He's in a very strong position.
So even though Grubs would have normally spawned at this time before this patch, you can still swap up if you want to avoid the matchup. You still have to lane, you know, true for the first few minutes of the game. That will kind of wear off the, you know, the alarm that comes through lane swap detected for a few minutes, and you can escape that matchup just for a little while. Does mean that Adam is going down towards that bot side of the map. And
Top wave
basically
is
the grand
cooked.
scheme of this is just Patrick and Execute get a frozen wave
Doesn't
in
matter.
top side so they can farm safely. They still have the same matchup in top side, but they get a little bit of choice of where they want their wave in the next phase of lane.
They'll just break it instantly.
Vladdy going to step in towards this top side jungle, just looking for a little bit of vision. They know that the Grubs are really the next objective. Neither of the teams decided to
I feel like the dive top actually cooked the
Jace.
Jace. I feel like you should just keep letting him marinate the Yorick.
Callisto and Targamas very happy to be in that 2v2 matchup, although Execute has his flash, Patrick has his, and they have enough summers that they should be able to survive
Nice.
to a possible fight attempt. What this does
There is a
allow
point where
Carmine
Yorick
Corp to do,
outscales
though,
this
is
matchup,
push
isn't it?
into this jungle, get pressure down, steal away camps. You don't really want to fight
Is
for the
Jace OP?
crux, it's a
I mean,
little
Jace is
deep,
OP in the right hands.
but you can still go for it if
I feel like
you're
there's a lot
feeling
of things that people need to be good at if they're a good Jace. Lane phase is definitely like one of
It
them.
would be really nice if you saw them, right, and stopped him from getting that
But
level
the champ's
6
pretty
before the
strong.
fight, but unable to do it.
But if I could choose
Targamas
between...
gets the pulverize.
What?
Headbutt. Ooh, Marang
Was
was
that
just
bug?
on the wrong side of that. Yike coming in as well for the knock-up. Kalist can't get close enough, but there's the Crescent Guard down, so basically no 6 on Marang.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem for Rogue, getting pushed back. And all of this comes from the winning bot lane of KC. The fact that they overperformed in that laning phase, and I think Execute made some pretty glaring errors there in that early lane, means that Rogue are behind in terms of their support presence on the map. They're behind then
What
in
would
terms
you
of their own
choose?
jungle
No, I'm
presence.
saying if I could
Just
choose between like
about Shin's out this
an
early on,
average Jace.
Rogue will have harder approaches towards objectives.
If I had an average Jace player on my team, then I think it's...
For them over the next
And the enemy team had like a tank top player.
Yeah.
Oof. I think the average Jace goes up 5-6 CS and just gets murdered in team fights.
Oh, I thought it was like the wicket like actually stuck to the thing so it doesn't fall off.
That's why you see in LCK a lot of people just pick Sion into Jace and just go fight. Because it puts Jace on like a... It's like a very big skill test, I think. Just kind of chill and then you just go team fight and you're just more useful. If you have the right comp, right?
Drops going over to Carmine Corp. I did want to have a look at how the top lane, bot lane is going. If we get an opportunity to go down to Kana and Adam. Haven't looked at it too much. You see the exchange being made between Yike and Marang here.
I think Grubs for Drake trade is way more Grubs worth now.
Why was we killed well, Riot tell us to. That's what's happening here. Targamas coming across. Kana and Adam still trading. Dark Possession going down. Kana jumps onto Adam, but that Maiden's going to start doing a lot of work. Marang dives forward. The follow-up.
Okay, nice turn by Rogue.
Kana is the first to fall.
Oh, the heal. Oh, the heal and the York Q% healing.
Adam and Marang can't quite get close enough. The win becomes
nice play by Targamas. Is it enough?
Execute dashes away. Yike in here with the cease and desist. Isn't trample stun. There's the follow-up. Execute will fall.
Vladdy is dying to the Maiden. He's alive. Yike got 2. Pretty big by Yike to get 2 there. Well played by Targamas.
Carmine Corp come out somehow ahead in kills.
About halfway through that fight, I was very convinced Rogue had won that.
Yep, same.
Kana goes down towards the bot side, even though he takes a good trade against the Yorick initially. Grasp plus the Q spam coming through from Yorick is a lot of healing, even at this point in the game. Gets comboed out by a good follow-up from Execute and Malrang, and then Vladdy's low HP, and then suddenly you think, well, surely with this HP advantage and the damaging members of the
That's
Jace
since
and
out
the
W,
Akali
bro.
being low, surely this is
Sometimes
it.
I
And
see
then
that kind of
the
hitbox
overstep
hit.
happens. Yike comes in, has the levels. They even bring down Victor. How did they end up losing so much at the back end of this?
Well,
this should have been a clean Rogue win.
I think Adam did flash into tower range to land a last rites that didn't do enough damage to kill off Vladdy. That
Kalist
probably
lives this
leads to
He is chilling. Who wins? 100 lost Ratones, finest elite members, or 1 Gorilla? Bro, the Gorilla gets fucked up, trust me.
With an extra player on this side of the map, Rogue should be able to
I think 50 humans beat 1 Gorilla. Easy.
1,200 gold lead. And again, it's Yike who has that early advantage on this fight. Already has the Sundered Sky complete. It has been a problem champion for Carmine Corp and for Yike himself, but here he's off to a very strong early start.
Makes it a little bit easier to play out the game when you get that early windfall towards you. We'll say, though, I mean, one of the leads for Rogue is in that Yorick matchup. It's only a small one, but the fact that kind of couldn't capitalize that early few levels into something that really stuck could become a bit of an issue. I cannot stress enough how ridiculous Yorick is in a side lane situation. It will become a problem. Kana is going towards the lethality burst build to try and take short trades away from the Yorick and just don't interact with the Morning Mist. Play around your Shock Blast instead. This game for Rogue, for me, really is on Adam. You must be able to get a side lane advantage. If you don't, it's a problem.
I am lightning.
Going in and won't find too much. Pops the ultimate for it, but crash down. Sorry, not crash down. What's the Zeri ultimate called? Can you
Lightning Crash.
Lightning Crash, that's the one. Thank you. Lightning Crash used. Doesn't really get much more than pushing Patrick away, but with Yike coming across as well, Patrick and Execute will have to give up at least a little bit of damage on towards this tower, so it'll be more gold going into the pockets of Kalist.
The 3 grubs really helping you push with this too. The Zeri getting this much gold is disaster.
The Zeri is going to carry this game.
While you are waiting for the Yorick to get back, why is Execute walking under turret?
Well, because he can! Because he can! He gets the quickness down!
No, he can't!
Well, no, he could. Just died.
True. Consequences of the actions he has taken.
Good pick by KC.
That's a head scratch.
Really good confidence. Chain CC one shot.
Yeah, well, no, he didn't because it wasn't even Execute. Just died.
Ah, true, actually, yeah.
That's a full tower to the Zeri. Isn't that ridiculous? It had plates on it. She's just got a full tower.
We have all of the technology in words nowadays.
That we do. Kalist's going to get the first tower of the game.
The Zeri was 500 gold up 30 seconds ago. The Zeri's now 1.6k gold up.
Now, for those of you who watched the start of Kalist's career down at the ERLs, you'll know this is a problem. It's a problem for any Zeri player, but this is a problem particularly in Kalist's hands as well. I don't think he's had the best split so far coming back from Korea and from first stand. I think that even last game, there were some issues around individual play, and I think Patrick outvalued him for portions of that game. Hang on a second, Kana might be get jumped
target.
He's mega dead.
Doesn't have flash.
You are mega dead, my friend.
He's on the wrong side of it. Gravity well there for the follow-up. Maiden comes
Give the kill to
well,
Victor.
just to make sure.
Okay, yes. And this Yorick's been getting so many random kills.
On the board, and all of them in Adam's hands.
Victor pays Mr. Tallis of Victor a visit in that top side, takes him down, and again, kill over towards that Yorick.
Mr. Tallis, wait, that's Jace's name in Arcane. His name's Jace Tallis.
So far ahead, that is a huge problem. That Zeri is going to force the issue fairly soon into this game.
Yeah, he's already got the Yuntiles complete. Trinity Force as well for Adam, so the power points of both the teams are well established. For Carmine Corp, Yike is strong, but he's not going to be as powerful as this Zeri when the game gets later. Adam is the power point for Rogue, and he's only about 1,500 gold ahead, but if he is left to his own devices, or his and the Maidens in a side lane, can do a lot of work. Execute here to shadow
Grubs.
will take a tower plate and then back away, respecting the fact doesn't really know where Rogue are on the map.
What's the next things up on the map? Next 2 minutes, we've got both objectives on both sides of the map, leading to something. Not really able to get that much on Vladdy here. Skip is getting a knocker, and forcing Vladdy to play a little bit more respectfully, I suppose. Kalist controlling this mid lane matchup. This Zeri being able to stand on their own and control mid lane on their own is a problem already.
Herald in 1 minute. I think KC wipes them.
A Yuntao Zeri to not be able to push in waves nearly as quickly, not have that control, and we might have
the
a
fight
in
here
the
looks a bit sketchy though. I'm glad he didn't go in.
Yeah, I was looking for the Vault Breaker, but decides not to go in. Kana was still pushing out bot, and Adam had just shown on mid, so they would have been outnumbered until at least the teleport could complete.
What's your opinion on the grub change? I really like the grub change. I really like it.
They can just scale.
Watching the game looks a lot better now. Everything looks a lot more like
the first 3 grubs. You could just wait.
Structured step by step. I feel like the grub Drake spawning same time was kind of manky.
There's always a little bit of temptation
but
to
but every
really quick plays, especially
every like 10 minutes someone comes into the chat and says, "Why is the map so blue, Caedrel? Did you change your filters on your screen?" No, I didn't. No, the game changed.
Kana, credit to him, is holding this bot lane matchup well enough.
But people actually ironically come in here and ask that question.
Bot side, see if we'll have to back off from that turret. Looks like we are having a split map. Glad using those 3 grubs. Top side, getting to go for themselves. Other side, see how quickly Adam can return fire from the bot lane turret.
See Kana,
are you tired? A little bit.
Immediately, and
a little bit.
Should be able to take that tower. He's got the Drive Force complete. Machine proc with the last rights. Not quite enough.
Kana, you might be fucked here, buddy.
Very greedy here.
I don't know if you should flash that wall. Okay, well, the Jace was OP, but the Jace is now fucking useless. I will tell you that for a fact. I will tell you for a fact this Jace is useless.
Little unnecessary. You've just taken mid and top
no one plays the game anymore, they just watch your stream. That's what? No, this chat plays ARAMs while I'm on their 4th screen.
You're fine in a compositional
on their 1st screen they have like their ARAM, 2nd screen they have F1, 3rd screen they have the Arsenal Manchester United fucking football match. 4th screen they have chat pop out, and on their mobile phone in the corner is my stream. They can hear me yapping in the background.
It's not the end of the world, but it was just really greedy for a wave. You're never going to keep that tower standing with Adam already.
But I can't wait one day that I'm like... Well, it's not that I can't wait that I want it to happen, but I've thought about one day... We should be okay here, maybe. Is I'll be a League of Legends fan, not a streamer. And I'll just be playing like a game, you know, maybe I'll play like Oblivion, and on my 2nd screen I can have the LEC, and I can just fucking chill playing my game while I watch the game every now and then, and enjoy the game while I'm just like playing a game, you know?
So what's happening on the rest of the map?
It's kind of a vibe, no? To just like late night play a game while watching a league, or like watching esports. It's like a really nice entertainment.
Towards Rogue's side of the map, so
while you're playing a game.
Good presence pretty much everywhere. See how much they can keep that up, and they use the Herald now to push their advantage.
You're on my main monitor. Aww.
Push from Vladdy and from Yike is an easy enough tier 2 for Carmine Corp. One of the reasons like Kana might poke and prod onto execute there is to just draw people to that point of the map. It's like, oh hey, maybe we're fighting here. It's like, actually, we never wanted to fight here. In fact, we were always looking.
Yeah, tomorrow morning is KT versus T1 in an arena, in a big arena. Pack Tom. Look how many rats there are. What the frick?
Vladdy all on his lonesome. Really needs to back away with Rogue making a beeline towards his current location. Spotted on a control ward. You can just walk away.
Why don't you play jungle on solo queue?
Did you ever play much?
Because if I play jungle in solo queue, I just get ghosted and it's annoying. I just don't like it.
With minion mancer, so it increases the
Only
size
way to play
of the
jungle on
summons by
stream.
like 60%.
So strong.
That's one big.
As if I have like a 1 minute delay.
Yep.
She yeah, she's scary. I think one of the scary ones as well is Nefir, where the dogs are actually bigger than Nefir itself at that point. He doesn't have a big maiden this time though. Gets the E onto him.
There's a maiden nearby, but she has to take the long
Easy
route
kill.
round, and Adam realizes he's currently maidenless. The maiden will come in after he dies,
And that's...
will follow suit. You do see
I mean,
that sometimes.
Kana is
When the
chilling
person
this
you
game.
love dies, often you follow not so shortly.
Kana is just a passenger.
So
Good job, guys.
Rogue Silver Lining's
One
been a bit
level down.
tarnished.
Yes.
But he was winning
God.
his lane. I will say the dive top just
All
wasn't
all
good.
the Elden Ring references
I get
in
like
while we
2
go.
of them
Yeah.
though. No, it goes up towards Baron. Let me solo them. Adam, he has to be doing a lot of work this game. Dying like that in a side lane, joke aside, is very important. KC still have themselves the lightning crash from a very, very fed 2 items area as well.
Going in, Malrang dashing forward as well. Crescent Guard
They have
out.
no
There's
bio.
the quickness as well from Execute. Will get the knockup. Larson coming in with the arcane.
Has KC
Storm
overcooked?
available, but won't pop it. Spits the gravity well down.
Wow, they got their red buff.
Stealing away the red once again. Adam TP'd into the mid lane. Not as much of a champion as he'd like to be without his maiden, although Yorick is a little bit more powerful in his own right than he used to be. You do still want the maiden for fights.
Absolutely, it's a long cooldown as a big thing as well. When you do, sometimes you get a win against him just by killing that maiden, by dying of course the desummons it. Anyway, and we have to see a continuation of KC just full court pressing.
Oh, Patrick! Killer Instinct onto Kalist here. Kalist pops the barrier. Yike coming in from the side as well. Vladdy then flanks. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say the Killer Instinct was suboptimal.
It was the Inta
Maybe
instinct.
feeling a little bit pressured by having every single lane pushed into them for the last, 4 or 5 minutes at this point, but that still doesn't make that play particularly high value. Adam couldn't finish off
It was high value just for Karman Corp.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you'd like to try and avoid them if at all possible. Yeah. Rogue, much like the last game, you reach this point in the game, probably just around, 17 minutes last game, probably around that same time point here. I don't think they realize where they're at threat on the map. I don't think they're cleanly placing together plays. I understand that they're under pressure. They do need to get resources somewhere. One of the biggest problems of losing all of these lane pressure is that you're also losing the jungle camps as well. So you're losing bleeding out small gold advantages over time. That doesn't make the plays they're making successful. It doesn't make them the right plays, but I understand
feel
the
like
mindset
KC is
having
going to force an
something, 'cause it feels so
Atakan.
bad being in this state.
Especially you're bleeding that so many different
They
positions
could wait for
on,
Zeri, but I feel like
goals,
Akali is
so
in
many
such a
different positions
lovely
on the
state,
map.
and so is
Plus
Vi,
it's
that it's just
2.5
time to
gold
fight.
lead. Yike has a 2,000 gold lead.
5k gold lead at
For
20
Rogue,
minutes.
Obviously sitting at 2 and 5. Even if they lose this series, they're not mathematically out of playoffs. There are 8 out of a possible 1,024 scenarios in which they would get a tiebreaker game.
That's a lot of numbers.
Yeah. So Rogue can still make it technically if they lose this game. It is incredibly unlikely that they do so. Everything would have
Here's
to
the
fall
Atkan
in their
force.
favor. Kliss gliding away from Execute
TP
there
from
as he surfs
Jace.
across that little bit of terrain. The flank is happening here from Vladdy. Patrick spots him though as he tries to get around. Kana landing a shot blast as Karman Corp have started up the Atakan. They'll still give you that
Will
magic
KC fuck
and
this up?
armor
Probably
shred
not.
if you tank it up. So they want to be a little bit cautious. Yike goes in, punches the maiden, the engage from Execute with the lightning crash.
Good reactions by
Kana's
KC. I think they went a little
follow-up
too
is
far, but then they
sublime.
disengaged
Vladdy diving
perfectly.
in as well, as Malrang is the second target for Karman Corp. They find 2. Oh my god!
Holy
Vladdy's
Akali damage.
is insanity!
What?
He kills off Patrick Larson. The one he's chasing down now. The shot blast not quite
Akali
enough.
damage,
Kalist will
Jesus.
eventually kill Adam.
Bro, Vladdy is
That
pretty
was-
good at these melee
that
champs
was
in
great play
fights.
from Vladdy, but that was a huge
Maybe he is Baby
DPS
Zeka.
boost.
I mean, that's just
He
not
heard
safe
Caps
for
was
human
Baby Faker,
consumption
now
at
he
that
wants to
point.
be
Take it
Baby
off
Baby
the air.
Zeka.
The R2 getting a huge amount of damage towards the back end of that play. I don't think Rogue make the wrong decision to push in through the bot side. Going through Tribrush was unplayable. But they don't catch the carries here. If you need
He's
to
a
go through
Zeka
this
Giga
choke
fan,
point,
yeah, I know.
you must hit the Zeri, and you probably have to hit the Akali as well. You have to get some of this damage down, because they don't. The front line immediately evaporates. You have no one to protect you from the Akali, which does just, frankly, obscene amounts of damage.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to half HP. Larson in to take down Patrick.
That's how they get you.
quickly. Yeah, well, it's just the unexpected Akali is the deadliest, apparently. An assassin for a reason. 5,000 damage in that last play. Kalist as well, topping the damage charts on this Zeri, but he has been consistently ahead this game, whereas Vladdy's kind of been even-ish, like, a few hundred gold ahead. Now 1.4k in the advantage. 8,000 gold lead for Carmine.
Yeah, I don't see a recovery really. Like, how do you recover against their champs?
Almost 3 items.
KC just have to press the jungle mid buttons on anyone on Rogue and they're dead. And Zeri's got IE in the next minute.
I don't think the Yorick's carrying this game.
No? He's ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's by enough, Medic. Just a little. I think it's a little bit teensy. We'll see if he can get anything done. But Casey, really good job managing sidelines to make sure that Adam has never managed.
Zeka watches the LEC, does he?
It has been about them finding the picks, punishing the front line of Rogue, and denying so many just random bits and pieces of.
Nice zoning by Casey.
Leading them out.
Ultra Shock Laser into Shock Blast gets Patrick down to 1/3 of his HP. Carmine Corp will take another tier 2. Second of the game. Kana's pushing through mid. There's a wave on its way.
Oh, he says he watches
Carmine Corp
KC's games.
Quick route through the jungle to try and take down another turret. Shouldn't be too much for them to do. Execute. Oh, he's flanking. Here's the problem, Execute, my boy, my man. There's no one there to follow up. He jumps away with the grand
Zeri's
entrance
basing
and
for
does
IE,
manage
right? He doesn't want to play that,
with
so.
the battle dance, but the
Bit of a waste, but
was a flunk.
it's just a matter of time for Rogue.
What you said that reminded me of a very niche SpongeBob meme. Sponge boy me, Bob. That's not a flank at all.
What LEC teams would you like to send at MSI right now if you had to choose?
Even if Rogue perhaps
Oh god, I mean,
in this game.
the
Fnatic
thing which makes
KC,
me
I guess.
really, it is tragic for Rogue. They've had some good series. They took a series, I think, after a very difficult start against SK, against Vitality. They were good wins in those series.
I don't really know.
For the level of play that they've shown, sadly, throughout this split. They had a good start to the early game against KC.
Probably
They're
KC,
sadly at a
Fnatic,
point
and
now
if
where
I
this
couldn't
really is
choose
last chance
KC or
saloon.
Fnatic, I would
They're
probably
not
choose.
mathematically eliminated if they lose this, as we've gone through many times beyond this point. But it is a tiny
It's a
team
aura.
like Rogue, which has had
I
long
wouldn't
legs in the
send
LEC.
G2.
Sadly, the recent days
I mean,
have been
maybe you
hard
have to
for
send
them.
G2.
I wanted to see them be more proactive. I think they have done that, but the success is just not quite followed.
I would just send Rogue.
For Carmine Corp's success is following them all the way from Winter. Winners
Send
of the
Rogue
split
and
there,
SK.
went to
They'll
first
pop
stand,
off.
made it to the finals. Argue however you want about the format, but they are continuing to sit atop the LEC. Fnatic the only ones ahead of them right now, but Fnatic have played a couple of extra games. Execute goes in with the quickness and immediately is chunked out. The Ignite won't be enough. Ultra Laser goes wide, so Execute is able to walk away.
10k gold lead, Baron in 20.
Not able
Larson.
to land that on the target. Kalista has been so hard to catch. Very good. Unnecessary pick. What's happening on the rest of the map? Canna's making his way up. KC, do they smell something here? Maybe.
I mean, whatever they smell.
Send Lost Ratones. Brother, we lost to a VPN. We ain't going to MSI.
5 seconds. They can play for that. Always the risk of getting Rogue back into the game by misplaying around the Baron, but Carmine Corp have been pretty good with their vision set up around it. You can see ward here, ward here, ward here. I mean, that ward that I initially pointed out was cleared out, but they have enough vision around it that they can see Malrang as he steps forward in the jungle. Execute goes in, and again, the grand entrance is purely ceremonial. Doesn't quite land the knocker. Malrang dashes forward. Shot Blast is going to connect. Cease and desist onto the back line.
Onto the
Malrang
Rakan.
back. There's the lightning crash. And it might be done without a Baron even needing to be slain.
Yeah.
Execute flashes away, but the rest
That
of the team
is probably
cannot
game.
escape the clutches of Vladdy. A double for the Akali.
We'll have to end bot.
Dives in onto Adam. He'll fall as well. Carmine Corp find 4. The only one still standing is Execute.
Teleport to the bot side from Canna as well. He kills turrets very quickly.
Wow,
with his
I
build
mean,
all the way.
Rogue
With
got
the
fucking
lethality.
bodied
It's like
this
Rogue
game.
just weren't even there on top side.
The first game was, I guess,
out vision
close,
and
but
camps and gold. And
they
they
can't
bled out
end.
too much now of Rogue. They try and contest for a brief moment, had no leg to stand on.
It looks like Carmine Corp don't think they can end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a boring game, but
shortish. Death time
pretty
is
well
only
played by
26
Vladdy. I mean,
minutes
Vladdy,
into
Kalista
the
are
game,
just
so
so solid,
they'll go
those two
double
players.
inhib, or at least
Like, these are
inhib
just top
power
2 in their
and a
role in the
single
league,
inhib.
Vladdy, Kalista.
You can see Kalista and
Carries on
Yank your
KC are
minimap
ridiculous.
doing the Baron, so should be able to secure this one without any real contest from Rogue. Malrang's running down on the bottom side. It would be a mammoth task if somehow he manages to steal this. Obviously impossible.
The carries on
Corp will
KC are
take
just
the
not
Baron.
fair.
Rogue still chasing.
They are really trying to chase for something here. I think Larson thinks, yeah, you're not getting away from that guy.
Sometimes you got to get the chickens.
Targamas plays well. I mean, Targamas Alistar is a classic, isn't it?
Victor would approve.
Yep.
Science. Get something there. Yeah,
Is it a 20k gold lead?
Can
Can they squeeze it? I don't know if they can.
Dragon spawns. Rogue are on the bottom side of the map, but I mean, Vladdy is back into the play.
Oh, he's
Can they
back in
squeeze
there.
it?
And yeah, he's flanking, and that is a dangerous angle.
Unseen Vladdy is the deadliest. Marang jumps in, double knock-up as well.
Oh, they blast cone the Alistar on top of the Victor. It's a pentakill for Vladdy. Just wrap it up.
As execute the next target. Perfect execution here from Carmine Corp and perfect execution from Vladdy. Even manages.
It's not a 20k gold lead. The game will end.
Hide,
Adam.
Adam.
Is he out of vision there?
You're on vision,
no, he's not,
my
right?
dude.
I think he is out of vision.
Actually, maybe hugging the wall means that he isn't.
He was out of vision.
Kano and Vladdy will make the march to the Nexus.
Well, chat, that was a mega stomp.
Will secure their 6th win.
Tomorrow is a big LEC game, though. G2 Vitality is fucking massive to determine who's going to play off.
KC came in today with a couple of worries about them. A couple of series just before the break. I felt like they weren't clean. They were falling behind in the early game. Of course, against Rogue.
All right, I had a long stream. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Bright and early. We got T1 versus KT. Big fat pace series. Okay? Big fatty pace series. Pretty solid day overall. Tomorrow we got a couple good series. We got G2 Vitality, we got T1 versus KT, we got Top Esports versus AL. Solid stuff. We'll probably play a bit of League, play a bit of Bloons, watch a bit of games, chat a bit of shit, and just enjoy, you know? Good vibes and chill. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. If you're new here, thank you for being here, and make sure you drop a follow. I hope you enjoyed the co-streams. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I made the viewing experience more entertaining at little least. It was a bit of a tough series. Tough day of games because they were quite one-sided, but yeah, the Fnatic BDS one delivered in game 1. Chat, I'll be back tomorrow. Deal? Alright, deal. There's a big kiss. Shout out to all the lurkers, bidders, gifted chatters, summers, donors, resellers. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, sleep well, enjoy your just, days, nights, mornings, evenings, wherever around the world, and bye-bye!